Keir Starmer is in hot water yet again. This time, his Labour Party's controversial inheritance tax plan has set off a political firestorm, with none other than socialite Lizzie Cundy leading the charge against Labour's financial policies on GB News. In an explosive debate, Cundy accused Labour's Rachel Reeves of bulldozing through people's lives with her reckless tax strategy, calling her a bull in a china shop. And as Keir Starmer struggles to keep his party on message, the backlash from farmers and Conservatives alike threatens to spiral into a full-blown crisis. Lizzie Cundy, with fire in her eyes, begins her tirade against Keir Starmer's Labour Party, wasting no time before tearing into Rachel Reeves. "Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves don't have a clue what they're doing," she exclaims. Rachel storming around with these inheritance tax changes like a bull in a china shop. Starmer talks about fairness, but all he's doing is hurting hard-working families, farmers, and small businesses. With each word, Cundy's frustration grows, painting Reeves and Starmer as completely out of touch with ordinary British lives. All we hear from Starmer and his so-called economic team is talk about black holes and wealth redistribution, she says, rolling her eyes. But the only thing growing here is Keir's Pinocchio nose.
Small family farm.
She's dug a horns in.
So, so I just wonder if this is one to just watch and see what happens. But if it is true that it is going to, personally, I just don't think that's good. I don't think it's good. It's not good for families.
But
it's not good
hold
for
on,
farms.
she's not good for any of us. Rachel Reeves has gone in like a bull in a china shop. Literally, she's got no judgment, no business sense, no idea. She's affected everyone. They lied. They lied. The only growth that's going to be is Keir Starmer's nose, because he's like Pinocchio. Honestly, I'm sick of hearing about this black hole. I mean, is that the new toolmaker? All they talk about is this black hole. Seriously.
Well, the OBR wouldn't confirm that the amount, the 22 billion, was actually existed. So they did not confirm.
Look, obviously, I don't agree with that analysis. I mean, I know Rachel on a personal level, and, she actually is formidable. And I think, look, what you've got here, you've got two different political parties who have very, very different perspectives on the country and the way it should be run. So
completely short-sighted.
So ultimately, they're not going to agree. But look, it's fascinating, isn't it? Because the last budget we had sent the pound nosediving.
Well, it's slowly diving now.
Caused absolute havoc, including people's... The big one for me was mortgages.
But Susie, if that's the case,
yes,
then interest rates are set to rise now, and the pound has slumped slowly. So what this is like a car crash, a slow-motion version of what we had with Liz Truss. And this whole thing with the inheritance tax is that if your farm is valued at £1 million, then you will be 20%, you'll have to pay 20% in inheritance tax. Now, that's not much. Land and those machines and everything else like that, you're looking at 2 million on average.
I think Rachel Reeves...
I think I'd agree. Look, I think this is what I'm saying. I think when it comes to the announcements and the impact on small family farms, if it is true, it's going to impact them in that way. I don't think that's good. However,
the moment Cundy finishes, Labour advocate Susie Stride jumps in, visibly frustrated. "Let's get this straight, Lizzie," she counters. Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves aren't recklessly targeting ordinary people. They're targeting the super-wealthy estates that haven't paid their fair share. Reeves is working to make sure the top pay up, so the average Brit doesn't have to bear the brunt. But Cundy scoffs, clearly unimpressed. "Oh, please, Susie, that's a fantasy and you know it. Farmers and small family estates are going to be crushed under Labour's fair tax. This isn't hitting the rich, it's punishing ordinary families trying to pass down what little they've earned." Stride raises an eyebrow, her tone defiant. "Lizzie, you're blowing this out of proportion. This tax affects only estates valued over £1 million. Labour is simply trying to address wealth inequality." But Cundy shakes her head. "Tell that to the farmers who've worked their land for generations. To them, this death tax feels like a slap in the face." As Cundy and Stride's clash lights up the airwaves, Labour's tax proposal is already making waves across the country. In rural Britain, family farms are reeling as they face the reality of Labour's inheritance tax plans. Representing tens of thousands of farms, Victoria Vivian, president of the Country Land and Business Association, CLA, takes to GB News to speak out against what she calls Starmer's betrayal. "Keir Starmer's team has shown they don't understand rural life at all," Vivian says, her tone seething. Labour's inheritance tax changes are nothing short of a death sentence for family farms. It's clear they have no grasp on the realities of land value and the effort it takes to keep these farms running. In an interview, Environment Secretary Steve Reed attempts to calm the backlash, insisting that Labour's policy isn't an attack on family farms, but a necessary step to tax ultra-wealthy estates. He defends Starmer and Reeves, claiming the tax will only impact the very wealthy, but many, including Vivian, aren't convinced. Labour's got this fairy tale idea of who owns the land, Vivian snaps. Starmer and Reeves don't get it. They're jeopardising the future of British farming under the guise of fairness. As fury over Labour's tax plan intensifies, new Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch seizes her chance to strike back. In her first major address since defeating Robert Jenrick for the party leadership, Badenoch pledges to make Keir Starmer answer for his disastrous tax policies. She stands in front of a packed audience declaring, "The Conservatives will not let Starmer and Reeves destroy Britain's family farms without a fight." In a rousing speech, Badenoch vows to protect Britain's heritage and support rural communities. Labour claims to represent the working class, but they're pushing taxes that'll hurt the very people they say they support. Starmer and Reeves are so out of touch, they're clueless about the sacrifices made by hard-working families. The crowd erupts in applause, and Badenoch's speech spreads rapidly online, reinvigorating support among Conservative voters and turning Labour's tax policy into a national flashpoint. The fallout from Cundy's rant and Badenoch's speech reverberates across the UK. Social media is ablaze with debates as hashtags like Starmer tax scandal and You Protect Our Farms trend nationwide. Some call Labour's policy a necessary correction to wealth inequality, while others see it as a betrayal of British heritage. One Labour supporter tweets, "Starmer and Reeves are doing the right thing. The wealthiest should pay their fair share, and inheritance tax is long overdue." But another user fires back, "Keir Starmer doesn't get it. This tax is an attack on family farms and rural communities. He's forgotten who he's supposed to serve." Lizzie Cundy's fiery critique, Susie Stride's spirited defence, and Kemi Badenoch's rallying cry have all come to represent two fundamentally different visions for Britain's future. The Labour Party, led by Keir Starmer, believes they're building a fairer society, but many in Britain aren't convinced. Lizzie Cundy's furious takedown of Rachel Reeves has exposed deep rifts in the country, with Starmer and Badenoch now locked in a battle over the fate of Labour's inheritance tax. The debate has spiralled beyond GB News, gripping the nation. What's next for British politics? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, this fight over inheritance tax is far from over. So, hit subscribe and stay tuned, because this inheritance tax scandal is only heating up, and we're bringing you every twist and turn.